Ryan Reynolds has remained under an intense media spotlight due to the high-profile legal controversy involving his wife, Blake Lively. While online commentators and social media discussions have speculated that the actor's reputation has suffered significant damage within Hollywood, there is currently no verified evidence that Reynolds has been formally blacklisted by major studios or industry organizations. The controversy stems from the legal dispute connected to It Ends With Us, which drew months of headlines, court filings, and widespread public debate. Although the litigation affected public perception of several individuals involved, entertainment analysts note that reputation challenges are not the same as an industry-wide blacklist. For much of the past 2 years, actor and producer Ryan Reynolds has found himself at the center of intense public discussion, not because of a new blockbuster film, but because of the high-profile legal dispute involving his wife, Blake Lively, and It Ends With Us director and co-star Justin Baldoni. Online commentary has frequently claimed that Reynolds has been blacklisted by Hollywood. However, a review of available reporting shows no confirmation that major studios, agencies, or industry organizations have barred him from future work. Instead, entertainment analysts describe the situation as one of reputational pressure rather than formal industry exclusion. The controversy grew out of legal claims and counterclaims connected to the production and promotion of It Ends With Us. Over many months, court filings, public statements, and widespread social media debate kept the dispute in the headlines. Ultimately, the remaining litigation concluded with a settlement, allowing both sides to avoid a prolonged trial. Throughout the dispute, Reynolds publicly supported Lively. Friends and sources quoted by entertainment publications described him as providing emotional support while the couple focused on their family and 4 children. Rather than withdrawing completely from public life, the pair made several appearances together after the settlement, including relaxed outings in New York City that were widely photographed by the entertainment press. Industry observers say it remains too early to judge the long-term career impact on either Reynolds or Lively. While public controversies can influence casting decisions and public perception, experts note that Hollywood careers often depend on future projects, audience response, and professional relationships rather than headlines alone. As of now, Reynolds continues to be associated with ongoing entertainment projects and business ventures. No major studio has announced that it will no longer work with him, and there has been no official industry action amounting to a blacklist. Claims suggesting otherwise remain speculative and should be distinguished from verified reporting. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds remain among Hollywood's most recognizable couples. Over the past year, the pair have faced intense public attention as legal proceedings related to Lively's work on It Ends With Us generated headlines around the world. Despite the scrutiny, recent reports indicate they are focusing on family life, new professional opportunities, and moving forward together. The couple, who married in 2012, continue to balance successful entertainment careers with raising their 4 children. Friends and industry observers say that while the legal dispute created stress and attracted significant media coverage, it also reinforced their commitment to supporting one another through difficult periods. One of the biggest entertainment stories of the past 2 years centered on the legal conflict involving Lively and her It Ends With Us co-star and director, Justin Baldoni. Following months of court filings and public statements, the remaining claims were resolved through a settlement before the anticipated trial, allowing both sides to avoid a lengthy courtroom battle. While legal experts noted that settlements do not necessarily represent admissions of wrongdoing, the agreement marked the conclusion of one of Hollywood's most closely watched disputes. Throughout the controversy, Reynolds consistently expressed support for his wife. According to reports, he remained closely involved in helping his family navigate the emotional challenges created by months of headlines and speculation. Sources quoted by entertainment publications describe Reynolds as providing encouragement, while the family concentrated on maintaining as normal a routine as possible for their children. Following the settlement, Lively surprised many observers by attending the 2026 Met Gala. The appearance marked her return to one of fashion's biggest nights after several years away from the event. She wore a vintage Versace gown and carried a personalized clutch featuring artwork inspired by her children, a detail she later described as a source of comfort during the evening. Reynolds did not attend but publicly praised her afterward through social media. Entertainment analysts believe Lively's next film projects will play an important role in shifting public attention back to her acting career. Public relations experts interviewed by entertainment media suggest that focusing on high-quality performances and maintaining a relatively low profile could help rebuild momentum after the controversy. Shocking hidden truth has been officially revealed. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have spent much of the past 2 years dealing with the highly publicized legal dispute involving Justin Baldoni over the film It Ends With Us. The dispute generated intense media attention and affected public perception of everyone involved. Although online commentators have argued that the controversy damaged the couple's public image, there is no official finding that they destroyed any film franchise. Their careers remain active, and Reynolds continues to be associated with major projects, including the Deadpool and Wolverine franchise. Recent reporting suggests the legal battle placed emotional strain on the couple and their family. However, entertainment outlets have also reported that they remain supportive of one another throughout the dispute, with Reynolds publicly praising Lively and Lively sharing affectionate Father's Day tributes to him. Some court documents and unsealed communications drew widespread media attention because they revealed behind-the-scenes disagreements during the production of It Ends With Us. Those disclosures fueled online debate, but they do not by themselves prove the sensational conclusions often presented in viral. It's no secret that Ryan Reynolds had been through his fair share of relationships before he eventually struck gold and found his perfect match in Blake Lively. Between his marriage to Lively and Scarlett Johansson, his engagement to Alanis Morissette, and his rumored romance with Sandra Bullock, remember that. It's easy to forget that he also dated Hallmark star Rachel Lee Cook at one point in time. The truth about Reynolds and Cook's romance is that it was over almost as soon as it began. They reportedly crossed paths in 2001, just as Cook was preparing to leave for England to shoot scenes for Blow Dry. Determined to woo her, Reynolds put his own filming schedule on hold and arranged a trip to London to surprise Cook. But the romance faded soon after, and by 2002, Reynolds, as we all know, had already moved on with Morissette. Unfortunately for us curious folks, neither the Deadpool star nor Cook. The behind-the-scenes stories of how James Gunn has been reshaping DC Studios since taking the co-chief executive role have been trickling out steadily, and few moments have captured the internet's attention, quite like the tale of two very different A-list responses to the new era of DC. Gunn appeared on the DC Studios Showcase official podcast to share details about the early days of his tenure, and among the anecdotes he shared was a window into the text messages he received from fellow Hollywood stars when the announcement broke. What followed was a story that perfectly illustrates why Ryan Reynolds will almost certainly never wear a green ring again. As Gunn recalled on the podcast, Reynolds had initially reached out with a warm congratulatory message when the news of his appointment broke. Then Gunn made his move. Gunn asked Reynolds if he wanted to be Green Lantern again, to which the actor replied with a swift two-word response: "Fuck off." The exchange has since gone viral, and it is hard to argue with the instinct. Reynolds has spent the better part of a decade putting as much distance between himself and the 2011 film as humanly possible. The reasons Reynolds is so eager to leave Hal Jordan behind are well documented and entirely understandable. The film grossed approximately $219.8 million worldwide against a reported production budget of $200 million, making it a significant financial disappointment for Warner Brothers and DC Comics. That figure becomes even more crushing when marketing costs are factored in, with industry estimates suggesting the total investment climbed closer to $300 million. The film received a 26% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with critics pointing to its weak script, casting issues, a poorly thought-out story, and underdeveloped characters. Reynolds himself has been candid about the production's failings. Variety quoted him reflecting on the experience, saying, "There was just too many people spending too much money, and when there was a problem, rather than say, okay, let's stop spending on special effects and let's think about character, the thinking was never there to do that." The Green Lantern experience, for all its misery, did free Reynolds up to pursue the Deadpool franchise, a decision that reshaped his entire career. While Reynolds was shutting down any conversation about a DC comeback in 2 words, Jason Momoa was taking the opposite approach entirely. When it was announced that Gunn got the job, Momoa texted him immediately with a message that read, in all caps, "Lobo baby," followed by a billion exclamation points. It was a bold move, but one that turned out to be prescient. Unlike Reynolds and Gunn's exchange, the conversation with Momoa proved to be far more serious. as Momoa was ultimately cast to play the intergalactic bounty hunter Lobo and will make his DCU debut in the Supergirl film. The former Aquaman star had long been vocal about his desire to play the character, making the casting feel less like a surprise and more like an inevitability once Gunn took the reins. Coy. The contrast between these two text conversations captures something essential about the current state of DC. Gunn explained that Lobo helps create a through line for the Supergirl film, noting the character is, maybe, in some ways, the biggest comic book character that's never been in a film. Momoa's enthusiasm met a creative need at exactly the right moment. Reynolds, meanwhile, has long since moved on. His success with Deadpool and his subsequent work in the MCU means a return to a character associated with one of the most panned superhero films in memory holds no appeal. The DCU has since moved forward with its own version of the Green Lantern mythology, introducing Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart in the upcoming Lanterns series, with Reynolds nowhere in sight. It is, perhaps, the most fitting ending to a chapter both he and Warner Brothers would prefer to forget. Ryan Reynolds has delivered a heartfelt tribute to Paul Mullen following the striker's departure from Wrexham, lauding the forward's contribution both on and off the field and stating he changed Wrexham and changed all of us. Mullen's exit brings to a close an enormously important era at Wrexham AFC, where he established himself as a pivotal figure in the club's resurgence under Hollywood proprietors Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Reynolds celebrated Mullen's influence throughout his spell in North Wales, emphasizing the striker's unwavering determination and capacity to produce when it mattered most. Mullen has been one of the defining players of the Wrexham era under Reynolds and McElhenney, playing a key role in their rise through the leagues and becoming a fan favorite at the racecourse ground. His goals, work rate, and knack for producing decisive moments in crucial matches helped turn him into one of the standout figures of the club's modern history. He scored 110 goals in 172 appearances following his arrival from Cambridge in 2021. The striker's profile was further raised by his role in the award-winning Welcome to Wrexham docuseries and, following his move to Wigan last season, Reynolds said he could not imagine seeing Moles on loan and in another kit. Sign up for the North Wales Live newsletter sent twice daily to your inbox. Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson said, "I would like to wish Paul all the best. This settlement enables him to take his time and find the right club for him, going forward." Mouse, for starring in the 90s flicks She's All That and The Babysitter's Club, has said anything about their romantic past. But back in 2005, Cook got candid about her relationships after saying "I do" with The Vampire Diaries actor Daniel Gillies, to whom she'd stay married until 2021. "I did my share of dating," Cook said in an interview with InStyle, via People. "I remember looking in the mirror one day after we got married and seeing my ring and thinking, wow, the party is over. But I'm so glad because I was never good at that." Tommaso Body/Getty Images. Unlike Ryan Reynolds, who has been happily married to Blake Lively since 2012, his ex-girlfriend Rachel Lee Cook hasn't been as lucky in love. In 2019, fans were shocked after she and Daniel Gillies revealed they were separating after 15 years of marriage through a joint statement. Thankfully, the split was cordial. The two agreed on shared legal and physical custody of their children, Charlotte and Theodore, and remained close. "We got married when I was 24. I think we were just a little bit ahead of the curve, so it feels like we're first, and that's hard," Cook told ET regarding their split. "But I don't know. I still love him to death." She even said of her ex, "He's an amazing person, and I still consider him my very best friend and will make it one way or another." On Monday, June 22nd, the actress, 38, followed up her emotional Father Day's tribute to the actor, 49, by posting 3 pictures of the pair beaming as they strolled around what appeared to be New York City in the sun together. She posted the tribute to Reynolds the day after Father's Day alongside the song "Soak Up the Sun" by Sheryl Crow and a cheeky caption. Reynolds donned a plain white t-shirt, beige pants, and cream sneakers, while Lively stepped out in a light gray tank top with blue fitted jeans, tan boots, and a Hermes Birkin bag. The actress also took the time to honor her own father, Ernie Lively, who died in 2021 of cardiac complications. She shared a photo on her Instagram stories of her father smiling down at one of her children as she held them, writing, "Love to everyone today who doesn't have their dad." Lively posted another picture of herself and Reynolds on the red carpet and wrote, "No matter where we are, you're the only person in the room," tagging his Instagram account. She then posted another snap of them arm in arm to the song Can't Take My Eyes Off You by Frankie Valli. In another video, she hinted that the Reynolds family had made the Deadpool star a hot fudge Father's Day dessert. In July 2024, Reynolds joked that he and Lively might not be done having kids, telling E! News, the more the merrier. As many as possible. As many little heartbeats as possible, just running around, wrecking stuff in the house. I love it. Let's have more. In an August 2024 interview with Vogue, Lively said that her life has become more intimate since becoming a mother, and that she's learned how to juggle their needs with her busy schedule. Lively went on to share a video of her November 2022 speech, introducing Reynolds, where received the American Cinematheque Award, in which she sang the actor and director's praises for being a devoted father and husband. Now I am his home, our girls are his home, and just like that 19-year-old boy, he races home whether it's from across the globe or immediately across the street, he is hardwired to get home, she said in the speech, which she delivered while pregnant with their fourth child. If he came home from set not in his wardrobe, we would be very concerned. Soaked in mud, fake blood, real blood, prosthetic scars, superhero suits, tap shoes or clown makeup, Daddy always comes home. Lively continued. And that man races back to his real life like nothing I have ever seen, especially not by someone who's able to be so all in his work life. He's able to somehow be everything to everyone all at once. He's the most present person you will ever meet. Reynolds described the experience as one of the most life-altering moments of his life, revealing that he was hit by a drunk driver while walking home after making the responsible decision not to drive. Recalling the events leading up to the accident, Reynolds said he had been drinking and decided it would be unsafe to get behind the wheel, even though his home was only a few blocks away. I looked at my car for a second and thought, I'm not going to drive anywhere, even if it's 4 blocks home, he said. After leaving his car behind and crossing the road, he was struck by a vehicle driven by an intoxicated driver. I got run over by a drunk driver after making a firmly positive and wise decision for a young 18-year-old male, Reynolds recalled. Spent 4 weeks in the hospital. Broke every bone in my left side. He hit me so hard, his car was not operational, he said, while expressing gratitude to the doctor who treated him during his recovery. This is not the first time Reynolds has spoken about the incident. In a 2011 interview, he revealed that he lost consciousness immediately after the crash and did not regain consciousness until 3 days later in the hospital. Looking back on the life-changing experience, the actor acknowledged that the injuries have continued to affect him over the years. Since then,